السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. عباد الله، أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل، كما قال الله سبحانه وتعالى بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. My brothers and sisters, as we learned last week, the importance of fasting on the 10th day of Muharram, which is also known as the day of Ashura. And we learned that it is the day that the Prophet ﷺ encouraged us to fast, as it was the day that the Jewish would fast, commemorating the fact that Musa ﷺ was saved from Fir'aun by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so the day of Ashura, the 10th of Muharram, is tomorrow. For those who are fasting today, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it an easy day of fasting for you. And those who will be fasting tomorrow, or maybe even the day after as well, because the sunnah is to fast not only on the 10th, but to be different than the Jewish, and to fast on the 9th and the 10th, or the 10th and the 11th. And if someone is unable to, then they fast on the 9th. And the reward for that, as the Prophet ﷺ mentions, is forgiveness of our sins for the previous year. That was, in a nutshell, what our khutbah was about last week. This week, we look at the fact that we are in Muharram. We are in one of the sacred months. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إن عدة الشهور عند الله 12 شهرا في كتاب الله يوم خلق السماوات والأرض منها 4 حرم ذلك الدين القيم فلا تظلموا فيهن أنفسكم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that this calendar year that we have is 12 months. إن عدة الشهور عند الله 12 شهرا. So 12 months is something that was already written from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And from those 12 months, 4 of them are considered more sacred. Now we know that we have other months that are sacred for their own specific reasons. For example, Ramadan. But then we also see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that these 4 months are sacred. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam points out Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah, Muharram, and Rajab. 3 of the months are side by side, and then Rajab is a few months later. And so what is so important? Why these months? First of all, we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is encouraging us to do something specific within these months. He says, ذَلِكَ الدِّينُ الْقَيِّمُ فَلَا تُظْلِمُوا فِيهِنَّ أَنفُسَكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, that is the true religion. That is the true religion. And we'll get to that inshaAllah ta'ala. And he then mentions, so do not wrong yourselves during those months. What does that mean? These months are sacred with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the Sahaba radiallahu anhum were forbidden from embarking upon battles, going and fighting. This is a time of reflection. This is a time where you now have to reset. And we notice that throughout our deen, in different times throughout the year, there are times when we are encouraged to reset, like a Friday, Jumu'ah. We reset ourselves for the week. Ramadan resets us for the year. Hajj resets us for our life. As in, you perform a Hajj, you come back after a completed Hajj, كَيَوْمٍ وَلَدَتْهُ أُمُّهُ, as though you returned from that Hajj like it was the day your mother gave birth to you. No more sins. Free of all the sins that were committed in the past, you have a clean slate. But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us, ذَلِكَ الدِّينُ الْقَيِّمُ. People will now ask these questions. Why does Allah choose these 4 months throughout the year as sacred months? What's the purpose? Why? The answer, ذَلِكَ الدِّينُ الْقَيِّمُ. Sometimes we don't need an answer that will directly answer the question that is being asked. The answer can be, this was chosen by Allah, and that is the true religion, and that is the way it is to be, khalas. That's the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants it to be, and that's how it will be. And I wrote down a few questions to remind myself of what sometimes people will ask. People will ask questions about these months. Why these 4 months? People will ask, why is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose for me to have less inheritance than my brother, or to have less inheritance than my child? Why? ذَلِكَ الدِّينُ الْقَيِّمُ. Sometimes people will ask, why is it that Muslims can't eat this food and can't eat that food, but the non-Muslims can eat this and that? ذَلِكَ الدِّينُ الْقَيِّمُ. Why can't I wear certain clothing? Why do I have to wear modest clothing? ذَلِكَ الدِّينُ الْقَيِّمُ. That is the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose for us to live. That is the best way to be, and that is the way that we have to submit. And we'll take the next part of the ayah in the second half of this khutbah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين وأصلي وأسلم على نبيه الكريم عليه أفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم أما بعد. In the next little part of the ayah, we're not going to take the entire verse, just the next little portion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَلَا تَظْلِمُوا فِيهِنَّ أَنفُسَكُمْ. So do not wrong yourselves within them. These months, as I mentioned, is a time for us to regain our level of piety with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where we recognize the things that we are falling short in. For example, disobeying our parents is dhulm. It's a sin. It is disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have to be very careful of it. In fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the most important thing that we need to be careful of. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna shirka la dhulmun azim. That shirk is the worst of the sins, the worst of the types of disobedience that we can ever embark upon. What is shirk? Shirk is worshipping with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala another partner. Or to feel more trust in something else other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To feel like I am safe within my home when the doors are locked. As opposed to I am safe within my home if the window is broken for whatever reason, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect us, I am safe. Whether it is locked or not, I'm safe, alhamdulillah. And so my brothers and sisters, we need to first of all be careful of worshipping other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or trusting and putting our faith in something or someone else other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the first thing that we need to be careful of. But also the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he advised Mu'adh bin Jabal, he sent him to Yemen, he tells him, be careful of the dua of the mazloom. وَاتَّقِي دَعْوَةِ الْمَظْلُومِ. Be careful of, the statements or the invocation of those who are being oppressed. Because the dua of the oppressed has no hijab. There is no barrier between that person and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So do not oppress others. Do not harm others. And a few examples that I wrote down of things that we may fall short on are, as I mentioned, first of all, shirk. Secondly, our parents. Being obedient to our parents in what they ask from us that coincides with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has permitted. Anytime they ask us to go against Allah, then that's the only time that we ignore them. But other than that, we are to be respectful to our parents. Another thing, my brothers and sisters, and this is important for those of us that are parents, our children. Our children. It's a mistake on our part if we do not provide for them a proper education, a proper Islamic upbringing, if we do not spend time with them, if we do not feed them the correct types of foods, if we do not sit with them, if we do not smile at them, if we do not touch them in ways that are permitted, as in, they're nice, they're good, alhamdulillah, give them a hug, they did something good. Don't always be angry with our children. They have rights upon us as well. And that is a sin if we are going to treat our children in ways that they do not deserve to be treated. Another thing, my brothers and sisters, not praying in congregation when we have the ability to. How many of us can come and pray in congregation and we refuse to? Because we're busy watching, half of the NBA season or the last half of the NHL playoffs, or we're busy with whatever's going on in our lives. How many times do we have the opportunity to reach out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we refuse to do so? Another example, my brothers and sisters, is not helping the poor with our time, with our wealth, with our resources that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with. Not advising someone who we know is doing something wrong, but we refuse to advise them about what they're doing. You see, your own brother, your own sister, your neighbor, best friend, your spouse, your child, your parents, committing sins, and we refuse to correct them. I'm not saying pick a fight and start a battle between friends. A correction, advice, a deen nasiha. Our deen is advice. It's It's something we have to do. Other examples, I can go on and on and on. But we all know what it means to wrong ourselves. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do not wrong ourselves within these months. It's a time to reset, a time to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. And a beautiful opportunity is given to us tomorrow, one day of fasting. We conclude by sending peace and blessings upon the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَمَلَائِكَتَهُ يُصَلُّونَ عَلَى النَّبِيِّ يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا صَلُّوا عَلَيْهِ وَسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا وارزقنا وعافنا اللهم بارك لنا في ديننا ودنيانا يا رب العالمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to strengthen us, to grant us the ability to be the best Muslims that we can, to follow the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from amongst those that rid ourselves of our mistakes and our faults and flaws. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to strengthen us and to grant us the ability to do what is right and to stay away from what is wrong. And to give us wisdom and hikmah in correcting ourselves and our friends and our relatives. Ameen. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون اذكروا الله يذكركم وذكروه يذكركم الله أكبر الله يعلم ما تصنعون.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله
الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الله يا الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله for your understanding and help with the volunteers on your way in and out. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you for your patience in different circumstances. He's doing everything generously on the way up, inshallah ta'ala. And ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make every single one of us to attain beautiful peace.
الله يبارك فيك الله يجزيك الخير كيف الامور؟ لا تفضلوا نعم ايوه انا تاكدت انا نظرت الى الايه نعم صحيح صحيح نعم صحيح الله يجزيك الخير الله يفتح عليك Yes. I will do what I'm doing while you speak to me, inshallah. I have been actually trying to find some information. Okay. See, in Quran, when we talk about the law, I'm just curious about this information. Right.